One of the things I've never really got into a whole lot is the last month of my wife's life. And one of the reasons why I don't, and I won't hear all the grisly details because it's not really appropriate for TikTok, but it is appropriate as a deterrent for other people that are going through this. So what happened was around January, I think it was 27th, 28th, I dropped her off at her 7th rehab facility. It was a Saturday afternoon. The following Sunday, the next day in the morning, they called me up frantically because she had fallen down a flight of stairs, and they had to take her to UCLA, which was the closest hospital. It was only like a couple miles away. I had brought her into LA. And at the time, I remember thinking, almost, why are you bothering me with this? Okay, she falls down the stairs all the time at our house. It's nothing new. Okay, she'll go to the hospital and she'll go back to the rehab, right? And he says, well, if she's okay. And I could hear in their voice that they were very concerned. And I was like, well, there's not a whole lot I can do. So unfortunately, I didn't really think anything about it. And another week went by. I had no intentions to go visit her. I already told her that I'd really had enough at this point when I dropped her off. And I told her it was probably the last time she was going to be seeing myself or our son, for a while until she got this thing figured out. So a week went by, and in the middle of the night, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and a doctor called me up, and I keep my iPhone next to my bed, and I'm like, who's calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning? So I picked it up, and it was a doctor saying that her heart had stopped and that they need permission to resuscitate. And I'm half asleep. I'm just going, what are you talking about? I said, okay, resuscitate her. Okay, can I go back to bed now? That's where I was at that time, and it's very understandable for people who've been through this kind of horror. Certainly, I felt bad for her, but she had put herself in that place. And unfortunately, again, I didn't visit her. My brother actually flew out from Vermont after I told people that her heart had stopped. And he really almost demanded that we go in and visit her because I really didn't want to at this point. I didn't want to see her. I really didn't. And her, my brother, God bless him, he flew out from Vermont, and we made the 110-mile trek into UCLA, and it was absolutely abysmal when we got there. When we got there, Amanda really wasn't conscious. She was hooked up to several machines, kidney dialysis, breathing machines. She had several IVs in both arms. She wasn't able to move. They'd already done a couple surgeries at that point. They'd gone into her to try and clear up a lot of the infection that was in her pancreas, her liver, her intestinal tract. Her heart was beginning to fail at this point. So this is the first time I really was cognizant that had become a life or death situation. And unfortunately, she was writhing up in pain after we had been there. I stayed about 45 minutes to an hour, and they had to put her under again. She was under extremely heavy medications, and they had to up the dose because she was in so much agony. And just to see her writhing up in pain, it was so sad. It's one of the reasons why I do these videos, because I don't want other people to ever have to experience this. And there's so many people out there that will say, well, that's not going to happen to me. This is an extreme case. And no, it's not. It's not an extreme case. This is really the end of the road. This is what you have to look forward to if you continue down this path of drinking on a regular basis and increasing your dosage of alcohol. After a couple decades, we're made out of organic material. Our bodies will wear out. And I can remember before we left that first day asking the nurse and the doctors, I go, why are we continuing to do this? Why are we, trying to save her life? There's no life left. I don't see her as having any quality of life. Why are we continuing? Oh, no, we think we can save her. We can bring her back. I'm like, and then what? What's the point? And I remember my brother kind of pulling me back going, Andy, it's still too early, okay? She's not there yet. Why don't you give it a little bit more time? And I actually got kind of angry with the doctors. I go, this is because they hadn't been through 20 years of this. I said, this is a waste of resources and time for your staff. And they got a little bit upset with me. And, at the end result, she passed away about 2.5 weeks after this, after another probably $1 million was spent. And I remember being really a little angry at the end of it. I can remember that. I'll make a part two because this has gone on a little bit long. But this was the experiences that both the alcoholic and the family of the alcoholic have to go through at the end of life. And again, please like, share, and comment. We also have the Facebook group. There's an alcoholic in the family. It's a growing group. I closed down the first group because it had gotten too big, so I started a second group. Please join that. And I want that to grow as well. I also go live every night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock East Coast Time. And I will see you again soon for a part two.